Hello everyone and welcome back to Agent Nagash, which is a channel dedicated to Age Sigmar, and in this video we continue with our army archive and we're going to be returning to the Free Peoples in their second army video. So what we're going to look at in this video is going to be their units. So these are going to be surprisingly mainly battle line units for the Free Peoples. They have loads of battle line units if you go for Free People Legions, which to be honest, I didn't know. I didn't know DEMIGRYPH could be your battle line, which is pretty interesting. So we'll get to those later. So what we're going to do is, like how I like to start these, I like to start with the weaker ones and I make way through to the more exciting, sort of the cookie jar units, if you like, or the Free Guild, what they have. So the first one we're going to look at is your fairly standard, fairly basic but reliable backbone, which are of course the Free Guild Guard. So these guys, they are obviously battle line. They are minimum size units of 10. They can go up to max size units of 40. You're going to be getting a little bit of a discount if you do that, because they are 280 points for a unit of 40. But if you take a unit of 10, they are 80 points. So you're getting yourself, you know, a nice little bit of discount there. I think only like, I think about 40 points discount, if my maths is correct. So yeah, that's pretty nice. That's quite cool to see, as you sort of expect it with them. So going into their rules, we're going to have a look at their war scroll. So first things first, the description: a unit of Free Guild Guard have 10 or more models. Most units of Free Guild Guard are either armed with halberds, spears or swords. These units may also carry shields to battle. Some units of Free Guild Guard are far less uniformly equipped and are instead armed with militia weapons, an assortment of blades, clubs, bows, crossbows, and even the occasional black powder firearm. Okay, so quite a few weapon options for these guys, depending on what you want to go for. So we're going to have a look at the wheel stats. So they've got a 5-inch movement, a 5+ save, bravery 5, and 1 wound. So those stats, not going to lie, they're not very good. However, at least they've got a 5 save instead of a 6 up, because I would say these guys are pretty basic, you know. It's 10 of these for 80 points, you know, and obviously cheaper you take a unit of 40 of them as they work out. So you're not expecting too much. Bravery 5, yeah, that's low, but they are just humans, so just like me and you know. If I was going up against a nightmarish monstrosity like a zombie dragon or a keeper of secrets or a, you know, great unclean one, I'd probably fucking run the other way. I ain't fighting that shit with my shield and sword. I ain't going to kill it. So you can understand why they've got bravery 5 and 1 wound. Yeah, we expect that. Movement 5. Yeah, I think that's fair. You know, they're not as slow as a dwarf. A little bit faster. So yeah, that's okay. Now, moving on to their weapons. So they've got a missile weapon option. And then they've got their melee weapons. So the one missile weapon we've got is militia weapons, and this is of course if you kit your Free Guild Guard out as militia. So what is that weapon? It's got a 14-inch range, it's got 1 attack, it's 5 hit, force wound, no rend, 1 damage. Yeah, a pretty poor range attack, sort of similar to what, like one of those skinks shooting attacks, something like that. But you know, this unit's pretty cheap. It's 4-inch range, yeah, it's alright. I think these guys are best in combat. That's my personal view, as we're going to get into the melee weapons now. So we've got militia melee weapons. So this is the first one, and it's got a 1-inch range, 1 attack, force hit, force wound, no rend, and 1 damage. See, that's pretty good, because bear in mind, if you go for militia weapons, it's not all of them making extra attack, it's just a few of them, so that might help. You know, that 1 extra attack might do that 1 wound that kills that 1 hero, that stops the whole enemy's use synergy right in the last turn when you need it to do that and you win the game. Yeah, that could happen, or it could be quite unreliable, but I'm glad the militia weapons are a 4 to hit and 4 to wound. You're not making the sacrifice, making one of those a 5 to hit or 5 to wound. Right, then moving on to the next one, which is the halberd. So it's got a 1-inch range, it's got a 1 attack, force hit, force wound, march 1 rend, and 1 damage. So this is the only attack that's on here, only melee weapon or missile weapon in that has a minus 1 rend to it. So pretty nice. It means if you go against those eliter armies, so obviously the prime example is Stormcast with a 2-up save rolling ones, because yes, they can still do that. There's that. There's Khorne, I think, can have a 2-up save rerolling 1, because, you know, bronze flesh, and then if you ally in a wizard, I think you can do that. Oh, you can definitely ally in a wizard. How? Just ally the Chaos Sorcerer Lord on foot, and then boom, you got a free Mystic Shield, which the enemy cannot unbind. So basically, there are good saves out there. You could play against a Nighthorn army. and your rend's not going to be anything. It's not just Nighthorn army could fight against like things that I fought in the tournament, which is the Legion of the Nagash army, but for some reason they've got Grimguard Reapers in it. Don't know why people do that. Maybe something to do with this thing called a gravesite. I wouldn't possibly be able to comment. So you've got a lot of ethereal things out there in probably like the ratio of how many armies there are. You've got a good chance of fighting something that's going to ignore your rend, but that's not going to be in every game, is it? And especially if you know your enemy's army and it is an army with a good save, then yeah, send them some fucking rend. So, and then moving on to their next weapon, so it's a spear. So this has got a 2-inch range, a 1 attack, force hit, force wound, no rend, and 1 damage. And then the next one is a sword, which is a 1-inch range, 1 attack, force hit, force wound, no rend, and 1 damage. So personally at the moment, unless I'm missing something, and I will go into it, I don't really see the difference in him taking the sword or the spear, because all you're getting with the spear is just an extra range that you're not getting with the sword. The Halberd, I completely understand, because you're getting the extra -1 rend. And the militia weapons, I understand, because you get a bit of a shooting attack. So, interesting what the difference is between the sword and the spear. I think you can take... I'm just reading through the description again. So it says, most units of FREEGUILD Guard are either armed with halberds, spears, or swords. And these units may also carry shields to battle. Yeah, so it's not like if you take a spear, you can't take a shield as well. So, not too sure about that, but let's have a look at the abilities to find out. So the first one is Sergeant. So the leader of this unit is a Sergeant. A Sergeant makes 2 attacks instead of 1. I absolutely love this ability, as I always say it for the champion of the unit, because an extra attack is so easy to remember. It's not like, oh, it gets +1 to hit, or +1 to... Oh, I don't have to write this separately. Oh, it's a pain, especially these guys. You're probably using a lot of dice because you can have big units of them, presumably. So, yeah, it's nice. It's just an extra attack, easy to remember. Right, okay, then we've got the Standard Bearers. So, models in this unit may be Standard Bearers. If you roll a 1 when taking a Battleshock test for a unit that includes any Standard Bearers, none of its models flee. And that is good because you've got Bravery 5. And if you're taking, like, say, big units of these, and the enemies do a shitload of damage to them, they're probably going to be running away. So just rolling that 1 and makes it... Well, I was going to say makes it reliable for them not to run away. That's not the case, but it gives you that chance for them to not run away. And... yeah, that's fantastic. It's not like if you get a 6 treat as 1, it's just like, no, roll 1, doesn't care matter if you kill 30 of my guys, they're not running. And that can be something very useful for things like when I play with Nagash, and I use them to try and take a enemy objective, and the enemy, let's say, has got 40 FREEGUILD Guard on it, as an example. Let's say something along the lines of 30 FREEGUILD Guard, you know, something around those sort of lines. So, 30 FREEGUILD Guard on it, Nagash goes in, he charges, he kills... let's say he kills 21, yeah? You can do that with realm spells to plus into his damage and so on. It is possible for him to do it. So, he does 21 damage. That means there's only 9 left. Technically, they still hold the objective because it's 9 against 1. However, Battleshock is a lovely thing to use against the enemy as a weapon, and I can guarantee if they lost 21 models and they've only got 9 left, they're running. You know, unless they spend a command point on them, they're running. So there's a way for you to make the enemy waste command points, even if they've got hearing range. If they haven't, then, like I say, they're goners. Nagash owns only 1 model, but he's cleared the objective. He's got the objective for that turn. And then these guys go, fuck, I haven't got, you know, Inspiring Presence nearby from a hero, so I'm just going to have to cut my losses, really, and just, you know, nothing I can do about it. Roll the dice for Battleshock. I rolled a 1. Oh, I'm here. I'm still here. And that means you don't get the objective this turn. Ha! And then little things like that can make the difference between winning and losing a game. In all honesty, it's so important. So if you're lucky and you get a roll for 1 in a circumstance like that, it means a lot. Right, okay, the next ability is Drummers. So models in this unit may be Drummers. If this unit includes any Drummers, it can countercharge after your opponent has finished moving all of their charging units, so long as no enemy models are within 3 inches. It then says that a countercharging unit charges D6. This might be good, but obviously face value from what I'm saying, I'd rather than just get like +1 to charge, +1 to run, or, you know, just some bonus along those lines. I think personally countercharging can be effective, but generally getting just +1 to run and charge is generally better. And so, okay, so that is the Sergeant, Standard Bearers and Drummers abilities for the FREEGUILD Guard. I imagine the Standard Bearer and Drummers and Sergeant will be very similar in most of the other, you know, Free People's units. So I will obviously look to see if it's the same when I review them, but if they are the same, I'm not going to go into detail about it, otherwise, it's wasted time, could be here all day, or all night even. So, going into the actual abilities, we've got a master rank, so add 1 to hit rolls for Free Guild Guard if their unit contains 20 or more models. Add 2 instead if their unit contains 30 or more models. Add 3 instead if it contains 40 or more models. So firstly, the important thing to say about this is it doesn't say for the combat phase. It doesn't say just for melee weapons. It is add 1 to hit rolls for Free Guild Guard units that contain 20 or more models, and then, add 2 if it's 30 or more, or add 3 if it's 40 or more. So, obviously the 40 or more is a bit difficult because you only have 40 maximum in a unit, and obviously if that's match play purposes. Now remember, this is going to help out with your militia weapons, and with that shooting attack weapon, which I talked about, which had a 5, to hit, with this, you got a unit of, just a unit of 20 or more even, it's now a 4 to hit. Unit of 30 or more, it's now a 3 to hit. And a unit of 40, if you've still got them all alive, it's now hitting on a 2. Which is now very good for a, even for a 14-inch range missile weapon, like hitting on a 2 is very nice. Especially for a unit like this. So that is something to bear in mind there. So when I said about the militia weapons, maybe I was a bit too hasty. That is something to bear in mind. So yes, that is good, and it's a big incentive for taking a big unit of them. And remember how I talked about the allegiance abilities for the free people, is that for your great companies you want to have sort of big units of Free Guild Guard, so it's sort of pointing you in that direction anyway. Right, okay, and then the next ability is shields. So you can reroll save rolls or 1 for a unit equipped with shields. That is good because usually it's like, you can do something if the enemy's like damage isn't a 3 or it's, so just reroll and save rolls or 1. It's very useful. I know that takes away the benefit of Mystic Shield, but then you're not casting a spell. And if you're playing against, let's say you will be playing against a Nagash or an Arcan or something along those lines, but if you are, as each army, you're not getting your spells off. You're playing against Core now, by the looks of things, you're not getting your spells off, and you're going to pay for it. So avoiding magic all in all might be a safer option. So yeah, that shield is not bad at all. Right, okay, the next one is parry. So you can add 1 to save rolls for Free Guild Guard equipped with swords in the combat phase. Right, and there we go. So when I talked about their melee weapons, I was like, what's the benefit of having a sword over a spear? Because the spear's got an extra 2-inch range. Now the sword, you're adding 1 to your save rolls. So that means, because you're paralleling the blades of the enemy essentially. So that means in the combat phase, you now got a 4-up save. So I would potentially give these guys swords and shields, because there's other things in this army that can do damage. So I'd look at these guys as the guard that they're meant to be. They're Free Guild Guard. It says it on the name. So make them as tough as they can be. And what that means is they've got the shield, they've got the swords. That means they've got, in the combat anyway, they've got a 4-up save, re-rolling 1s. If they're in scenery, if you're lucky or something along those lines, then they have a 3-up save, re-rolling 1s. And then that may become quite hard to get rid of, especially with their nifty standard bear ability. Yeah, risky that standard bear ability, but if you get it off, it can save you, and like that example I gave from the Nagash. Okay, so then going into keywords, so the first one we've got is order, then human, then free peoples, and free guard. So pretty standard there. I mean, free peoples is the most important one, obviously, for the allegiance. But yes, that is the Free Guild Guard. Then moving on to the Free Guild Archers. So this is something quite interesting, not something you see a lot. So this is a minimum size units of 10, maximum size units of 30. They are 100 points for 10, and you don't get any discount for taking the maximum size unit. So, yeah. Pretty cool. I think they're quite nice. Like I say, you don't really see them, so it's quite an interesting one to, especially to review, because I've never been attacked by these guys, shall we say. I've never fought them in combat, or I don't think these guys want to be in combat, but I've never seen them on the battlefield. So let's look at that war scrolls, the Free Guild Archers. So looking at the description, we have got a unit of Free Guild Archers has 10 or more models. Units of Free Guild Archers are armed with bows and a short sword. So looking at their will stats, we've got a 5-inch movement, 6+ save, bravery 5, and 1 wound. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy that they've got a save. So yep, that's all good. And then pretty straightforward there, but it's quite similar to the last one. And they are archers, they're hunters, these are skirmishers. They haven't really got much armor on, so 6+, yeah, I'll take that. So going into their missile weapons, we have got the bows. This is the 18-inch range of weapon. Got 1 attack, 4 to hit, 4 to wound, no rend, and 1 damage. So not a bad range there. 18-inch range. I know there's stupid ranges in this game now, but for a human, for his bow, for his long bow as well, because that's what it looks like, he's got an 18-inch range. Yeah, not bad. It's got a good to hit and to win characteristic. So yeah, I like that. And then it's melee weapon, so that's a short sword. So it's got a 1-inch range, a 1 attack, 5 to hit, 4 to wind, no rend, and 1 damage. That's not a bad melee weapon for these guys, because these guys are not going to be getting into combat. So yeah, that's not bad at all. Okay, and then going into the abilities, so we've got marksman. So the leader of this unit is a marksman. Add 1 to its hit rolls for a marksman using a bow. So you have to roll separate dice. I know it's the least preferred one of mine, but you know, you get a leader, don't you, for your unit? So yeah, it's good. Right, okay, and then the other ability. So we've got a huntsman. So after setup is complete, you can make a bonus move with this unit as if it were the movement phase. So yeah, that just, well, it means they get an extra 5-inch movement, which isn't bad. Might put them in range of the enemy, probably would do, so they can get some shots off. So yeah, pretty nifty ability. And like I said, these are skirmishers, so it's quite nice. You know, very thematic, goes to the theme. And then the last ability they've got is ordered a volley. So you can reroll hit rolls of 1 for 3 guild archers in the shooting phase. You can reroll hit rolls of 1 and 2 instead if the unit has 20 or more models, or you can reroll any failed hit rolls if it has 30 or more models. So firstly, think about, are we on all failed hit rolls? You've got 30 or more models? Yeah. You have to take a unit of 30 of these guys and none of them die. So it's not going to happen too much. But, you know, if you do, obviously that's amazing. But just, you can reroll hit rolls of 1 for 3 guild archer units in shooting phase is good anyway. Just reroll the hit rolls of 1, hitting on a 4, reroll the 1s. Nice, lovely. And then if you've got 20 or more, you're rerolling 1s and 2s. So you're hitting a 4, rerolling 1s and 2s. Just don't get 3s. Really, really nice ability that. I think I like it a lot. Especially it's not like, oh, you have to be like, the enemy has to be within this range of you to be able to. No, it's just nice, flat, simple. Or it's just nice that you get the rerolls of 1s to hit without having to take a certain size unit, which is a nice standard thing you're getting. So then going into their keywords, we've got order human, 3 peoples, 3 guild, and archers. So important there is 3 peoples. I get it's very similar, these ones, because they're not a massive army. You know, they haven't got, you know, loads going on for them, you know, like no battle time stuff, so their keywords aren't going to be hugely specific, but 3 peoples and 3 guard are probably going to be the most important ones. So they're the 3 guild archers. I do like them. I think they're quite thematic. I think they're pretty cool. I really like the models. And one of the guys is holding a pheasant. So if you're on the borderline on should you get them, there is a man with a hat, and he's holding a pheasant very proud into the with his right hand there. So if you're unsure about these guys, the pheasant for me would sell it to me. So just thought I'd let you guys know about that. Right, okay, and then we're going to move on to our next unit, and this is going to be a more sort of sophisticated 3 guild archers, and these are not going to be skirmishers because of course these are going to be the 3 guild crossbowmen. So they've got a maximum size unit of 30 and the minimum size unit of 10, and they are 100 points for 10. So they're the same points as the 3 guild archers, and like the 3 guild archers, they are battle line as well. So that is like all the things we're going through so far, all battle line. So, you know, it's all like, oh, can I take them? You know, like, I need my 3 battle line options. They're not really filling the space. What's the point? No, these guys taking the space as battle line. So pretty cool there. Right, and then going in to their war scroll. So firstly, we're going to look at the description. So a unit of 3 guild crossbowmen has 10 or more models. Units of 3 guild crossbowmen are armed with crossbows and daggers. Right, so we got there. So 2 different weapons. Cool. Looking at their wheel stats, we've got a 5-inch movement, a 6+ save, bravery 5, and 1 wound. So exact same we saw for the last ones. Yeah, maybe expect a bit more because they're not really skirmishers. But then again, they've got the same amount of like clothing and armor on, sort of. So yeah, okay. They've got their missile weapon. So this is obviously the important one. So it's the crossbow. So it's got a 20-inch range, 1 attack, 4 to hit, 4 to wound, no rend, and 1 damage. 20-inch range is good. Better range than the longbow. I thought the longbow would have better range than a crossbow, but I'm not an expert in, you know, medieval weaponry, so obviously correct me there if I'm wrong. But still, obviously, I'm not complaining because 20-inch range is good, and especially for these, especially for humans, you know, that's definitely good. And not bad to hit to win cash race. It's been a 4, no rend. Yeah, sort of expect that with these guys. And a 1 damage, of course, is, I think, you know, nothing wrong with that at all. Especially these guys, it will be volumes of attack you're chucking at the enemy, not quality. Right, and then going into their melee weapon, so they've got the dagger, which is a 1-inch range, 1 attack, 5 hit, 5 wound, no rend, and 1 damage. Yeah, standard, expect that. Just be happy one of those to hit or wound characteristics isn't a 6+, so yeah. Right, and then going into the ability, so we've got a marksman, so the leader of this unit is a marksman. Add 1 to the hit rolls for a marksman using a crossbow, so the same ability we saw for the marksman for the free guild archers. So yeah, you just have to roll a dice separately. Right, standard bearers, so that's the same as the one I did for the guard, so you roll 1, and none of them run away, and battle shock. But you've got pipers, so models in this unit may be pipers once per turn. If an enemy unit ends its charge move within 3 inches of a unit that includes any pipers, they can signal that unit to stand and shoot. Each model can then shoot its crossbow at the charging unit. Yep, that's good. That's a really nifty ability, especially if the enemy's gone, what are you hitting into winning in combat? And you're like, 5s, and they only get 1 attacks each, and the enemy looks at you and go, you only got 10 models? I just charge, you know, something quite weak into you, but it'll beat you. Right, the enemy does that, sort of go half-assed into trying to kill these guys, and then these guys go, oh yeah, I'm shooting you when you charge me. What? And then, you know, you shoot them when they're being charged, and you could really then go, well, that weak thing you charged me with that you plan to kill me, it's looking a bit more weaker now, isn't it? And I might win that combat. So, who is the loser now? You know, the hunter has become the hunted, I believe the phrase is, if that is irrelevant. So, yes, that I do like that ability. That is very nifty at all, especially when you go, fuck, I just been charged so horrible. At least you can do some damage to it before it kills you. Right, then going into the rest ability, so we've got piercing bolts. So each time you roll a wound roll of 6 or more for a crossbow that attacked is resolved with a rend cache as a -1 instead of none. So that's nice, especially with good range there. I like that, yeah. Try to get a -1 rend. Lovely. Nice little treat there. And the next one is reload and fire. So FREEGUILD crossbow men can shoot twice if their unit has 20 or more models. They did not move in their preceding movement phase, and there are no enemy models within 3 inches. So 3 requirements here. Similar to the Quarrelers for the Dwarves, I believe. So, that is good. 21 models. Yeah, you can do that, especially if you want to take great companies. It all fits in quite nicely with your FREEGUILD guard, doesn't it? So, I'd definitely take 20 or more models. These guys, when I say 20 or more, I mean, well, you can take 20 or 30. Precise if you want to go over that. So, yeah, take 20, maybe 30. But anyway, if you do that, they have a very good shooting attack. Now it's 2 attacks each. Chance of doing -1 rend if you're lucky, and just generally chucking quite a few dice at the enemy with a 20-inch range. So yes, I do like that. Right, okay, and then looking at the keywords, so we've got order, human, free peoples, free guard, and crossbowmen. So we have got almost free people, free guard, like I said before, and yeah, a good solid unit. Play a different role to the archers, I would say. The archers obviously more skirmishing, but I say free guild crossbowmen, I would think are better. However, there is another contender in the unmounted shooting corps, if you like, for the free peoples, and this is going to be your free guild handgunners. So they are 100 points for 10. They come maximized units of 30, and you get no discount on them. So they're exactly the same points as the free guild crossbowmen and the free guild archers, and also they are battle lines. So they're basic, you know. It's really easy to sort of compare them, if you like, because they've got, you know, well, they cost exactly the same amount. They are battle line, and they are all missile units. So what do you really get? So let's have a look at the free guild handgunners. So looking at their war scroll, it's more in depth than the others. Certainly got that already. The description says the unit of free guild handgunners has 10 or more models. Units of free guild handgunners are armed with free guild handguns and daggers. Right then, and looking at their wheel stats, they've got a 5-inch movement, a 6+ save, a bravery 5, and 1 wound. So the same as the last 2 minutes. So yeah, same armor, isn't it? I suppose same people. So yeah, you expect it. Right, and then looking at the missile weapons, so we've got quite a few here. There's 3. So we've got the free guild handgun. This is your standard one. You've got the long rifle. You've got the repeater handgun. And you've got the dagger for their melee weapons. So, let's have a look at the free guild handgun first. So this is what most people, apart from the marksman, which we'll get to in a moment, will be having. So, free guild handgun. So 6-inch range with a 1 attack, 5 hit, freeze to wound, minus 1 rend, and 1 damage. So 16-inch range. It could be shorter, couldn't it? So yeah, that's okay. You should be able to get most things as long as they're just trying to snipe the enemy. You should be able to get most things with that. A 1 attack, yeah, standard. 5 to hit. I'm not liking that. That's not good. There's a way to help you reduce that, don't we? But 5 to hit, standard, not good. Freeze to wound though, that is good. That is better than the others we've seen. And minus 1 rend, just guaranteed. That is nice, and 1 damage. So yeah, I do like those attacks characteristics. They are really good, to be fair. It's just that 5 to hit, but like I say, we can fix that, which we'll get to in a moment how we're going to fix it. So the next one is the long rifle, and before I go into that, I want to read the marksman's ability. So the leader of this unit is a marksman. A marksman is armed with either a free guild handgun, a long rifle, or a repeater handgun. You can add 2 to the hit rolls for a marksman with a free guild handgun in the shooting phase. So he can have a free guild handgun, and that means he's got a 16-inch range attack, 1 attack, freeze hit, freeze wound, minus 1 rend, 1 damage. Very respectable, very good, very nice. Or you can be more exciting, so you can go for the long rifle, which is a 30-inch range, 1 attack, force hit, freeze wind, minus 1 rend, 2 damage. Or you can go for the repeater handgun, so that's a 10-inch range, D3 attacks, force hit, freeze wound, minus 1 rend, and 1 damage. I immediately like the long rifle, it gives you range capability, very good. You can try and snipe the enemy of it. Of course, you know, you've got to think about look at, so but you can just kill him. Well, I was going to say, you can just kill monsters. I mean, just chipping off a wound of a monster, or 2 wounds of a monster is very useful, because 30-inch range is a massive, especially for a unit like this. And when I say unit, I mean, it's only 1 model in it, but still 30-inch range is massive. You know, especially not for artillery or something. So that's the one I'd go for. The free handgun, yeah, close range. The free guild, you know, handgun might generically just be better on average, but I definitely prefer the long rifle, and it also looks awesome. So then we go into the melee weapons. So this is what they all get, and this is the dagger. So it's 1-inch range, 1 attack, 5 hit, 5 wound, no rend, and 1 damage. So it's the same dagger as we've seen before. Right, okay, then going into the rest ability. So we've got the standard bearer, and this is the same as the ones we've seen before. So you roll 1 in battle shock, no one flees, fantastic. The pipers is the same that we've seen before. So if a charging unit charges within 3 inches of this unit, then this unit can shoot it. Nice, good. I've already talked about that's nice and good, especially for a piper, especially for a musician. That's awesome. Right, okay, and then we've got the ability. So steady aim. So you can add 1 to hit rolls for a free guild handgunner in your shooting phase, so long as its unit did not move in the preceding movement phase, and there are no enemy models within 3 inches of its unit. So this is good. Obviously you can't move though, and that's a bit of an issue when you've only got a 16-inch range. However, remember the great company. So the enemy's going to come to your guard. You know, the guys with the shield that we reviewed first. The enemy's going to come to them. These guys can be behind them and be waiting for the enemy and just stay there stationary. So when the enemy does come in range, they'll be adding 1s to their hit rolls. As long as the enemy, of course, is not within 3 inches, which means they're now hitting on a 4, not a 5. And that makes all the difference to making this attack characteristic very nice indeed. And then the last one is the handgun volley. So you can add 1 to hit rolls for a free guild handgunner when it shoots its missile weapons if its unit includes at least 20 models. So you can easily make these guys that were like hitting on a 5, one absolute pain, now hitting on 3s. Lovely, lovely job. So suddenly, like I said, become really good to hit into wing characteristics and minus 1 rend to it. Lovely, lovely job. And I think for me, that's what gives them the edge over the other 2 units. Personally, I think handgunners are quite cool, aren't they? Black powder weaponry, definitely, especially in a medieval setting, is very cool. Crossbow units, yeah, they're cool as well, because they remind me of like Lannisters. And probably you guys can't remember this, but there's a scene where a Lannister gets killed because it takes too long to reload its crossbow. And yeah, so this, you get quite a bit of flavour of what you're going for. Obviously, the best range is going to be the crossbows, but for shorter range, you know, combats, the free guild handgunners are going to be best. When I say combats, I mean, you know, short range shooting offs, if you like, or something like that, or basically shooting the enemy before it comes to hit you in the face very hard. Especially if it's an orc or a corn unit. Now we got, you know, they're no better time. They'll be very nasty. Right, okay, and then keywords, we've got order, human, free peoples, free guild, and handgunners. So like I say, free peoples and free guild are going to be the most important ones there. Right now, so because we've looked at a lot of missile units, let's go back to a bit of combat. And who better to pick than the free guild greatsword? So They come in unit sizes of 10, which will cost you 140 points. And they come in maximized units of 30, which will cost you 360 points. So what's awesome about there, if you take a maximized units of these guys, you're getting yourself 80 points discount, which is huge for a max legion discount, whatever it's called. 80 points is massive. It's not many cases where you see that. A lot, like we said, we've already seen it here, haven't we? Where most of the times like it's 40 points something saving, which isn't bad, but 80, that's huge. So, of course, do you really want to take a unit of 30 of them? We're going to have a little look. We're going to find out. And remember, these guys are your battle knights. That's always a good sign there. Right now, so looking at their war scroll description, so unit of FREEGUILD Greatswords has a unit of 5 or more models. Units of FREEGUILD Greatswords are armed with large double-handed swords called Two-hander, so they're going to be called Greatswords. Right, firstly, remember when I talk about their war scrolls, I'm talking about match play purposes, so you have to take them unit sizes of 10 at least. If you're playing narrative open play, play whatever you want. Absolutely awesome. Good on you. So, but just bear in mind, in match play, you've got to take them unit size units of 10 and match size units of 30. You can't go under or beyond that limit. Right, okay. So, looking at their will stats, they've got a 5-inch movement, a 4+ save, bravery 6, and 1 wound. So, 5-inch movement, yeah, standard. We've seen that for humans. 4+ save, good. If it was 5+ save, I would have been annoyed. These guys, they're elite, they're expensive in points. They should have a 4+ save. A bravery 6 is a little bit better, isn't it? I mean, you could have bravery 7, but would that make these guys too good? I don't know. But yeah, at least it's not bravery 5. Right, and then a 1 wound. Yeah, I mean, like these guys, like I say, they're more elite, but they're still human, so 1 wound makes sense. Then looking at the middle weapons, they've only got 1, and like I said, this is going to be pronounced the Greatsword. So it's got a 1-inch range, 2 attacks, 4 to hit, 3 to wound, minus 1 rend, and 1 damage. Yeah, 2 attacks, minus 1 rend to it. Good to wound characteristic, especially 1 damage. Yep, similar to sort of Grave Guard, you know, abilities, but you know, well, I say abilities, I mean attack characteristics, just the other way around. Wound on 3 isn't bad. And then the ability, so we've got a guild champion. So the leader of this unit is a guild champion. Guild champion makes 3 attacks rather than 2. Fantastic. I love the guild champion because it's easy to remember, just an extra attack. The standard burst, this is if you roll 1, no one runs away, so that's all good. The horn blower, now what this means is the same what we saw before for the FREEGUILD guard, and this is when the enemy does the charging, you can make a charge as well. If you want more details on that, you can go back to I've talked about it for a little bit of time. Right, okay, the last ability is the more important one. So this is the Oath Sworn Honor Guard. So if a unit of FREEGUILD Greatsword is within 14 inches of a Free People's hero from your army, when they attack, you can add 1 to all of their hit rolls. So firstly, important thing to mention here, it's within 14 inches of a Free People's hero, not wholly within 14 inches. Now, if these guys do get an update anytime soon, you can definitely expect that to become wholly within like 15 inches, as the holy way is going. But within 14 inches, abuse that while you can, basically. And that's not too hard to do. You know, your Griffin's got a big base, even just like a general on foot, if you like, or on a horse, can, you know, keep up just hanging around these guys to give them the bonus there. So, yeah, that's good. 'Cause then you've got 1-inch range, 2 attacks, hitting on 3, wounding on 3, minus 1 rend and 1 damage. That's really good to hit into wound characteristics, that, for sure. And then the keywords. So we've got Order, Human, Free People's, Free Guild, and a Greatsword. So obviously the important ones there are going to be your Free Peoples, and of course they're going to be your Free Guild as well. Like I say, quite generic ones, but you know, always important to know what your keywords are, especially for all the abilities that affect keywords in the game now. Right, okay, so we're then going to move on to our next one, and those ones we've reviewed so far, so they're all battle lines, so that's, just count them, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 battle line options we've already reviewed for Free Peoples. Now, bear in mind, a few of them, well, when I say a few of them, I mean, as far as I'm aware, just the Greatswords, you have to take a Free People's Allegiance to it, but I imagine if you're watching this video and you want to play these units, you're probably looking at taking a Free Guild Allegiance anyway, rather than just an order one. So, then moving into our mounted options now, because we looked at all the unmounted for the units, so now looking at the mounted, so we've got the FREEGUILD Pistoliers we're going to look at. So, they come in minimum size units of 5 for 130 points, and they come in a max size units of 20, so that is 20, so that is quite a lot in all honesty for 520 points. And you're not going to get any discount for taking unit 20. I'd completely correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think a unit 20 is wise, because that's a lot of models running around that you don't really want to get into combat. So yeah, just any side of caution with that. But we will look at their war scrolls, because we want to see what they're like. And looking at their war scroll, it's already quite an extensive one from what I can see. So they've got a 12-inch movement, a 5+ save, bravery 5 and 2 wounds. 12-inch movement, very good, very nice, especially for cavalry. That's good. They're not very heavily armoured, they're more sort of skirmish cavalry. So yeah, come to expect it, but no, it's good. They've got it. A 5+ save, would maybe like a 4+ save, that maybe is asking for too much, as these guys, like I say, are skirmish units, and they're not like heavy cavalry or anything like that. And they've got a 5 bravery, 2 wounds. I would have liked them to have a 6 bravery, I think. That would be the one thing I would like them to be increased from that. But anyway, getting carried away with their wheel characteristics, let's look at the description. So a unit of FREEGUILD Pistoliers has 5 or more models. Units of FREEGUILD Pistoliers are armed with braces of pistols, which they use to slay their foes at range and in a melee. They are mounted on steeds and trample the foe with their stamping hooves. Pretty badass unit by the sounds of things, you know. Well, when I say they, I mean like they're steeds trampling the enemy with their hooves, you know. Don't get in the way of them, otherwise you're going to get fucking hooved to death. Right, so we're looking at their missile weapons. So we've got the brace of pistols and repeater handgun. So first one, we've got the brace of pistols. So that's a 9-inch range. This is 2 attacks, hits on a 5, wins on a 3, minus 1 rend and 1 damage. Looks a bit similar to the handgun we had for its to hit into win characteristics. Wonder if there's a way to get any pluses to it. But it's only got a 9-inch range. But like I said, these guys are running around shooting what the fuck they like and running away again. Right, and then the next missile weapon is the repeater handgun. Now, I'm going to read the rules for the Outrider, as that will explain what the repeater handgun does. So the leader of this unit is an Outrider. Outrider has a bravery 6 instead of bravery 5. Firstly, I think that doesn't matter if like he's the last one in the unit, I suppose, and like a Banshee tries to scream at him, maybe. Something important to note though, so when you're doing Battle Shock, just wondering, you roll for the unit, don't you? So he's got bravery 6 and the others got bravery 5. Does that mean he would run away if they just failed by 1? But I don't know. Anyway, that's the race situation thing. But let's go on with the abilities. So I'll read it from the start. So Outrider. The leader of this unit is a Outrider. An Outrider has a bravery 6 instead of bravery 5. Some Outriders are armed with a brace of pistols. You can add one to hit rolls for these Outriders, but many prefer to wield a repeater handgun. Some Outriders ride to war equipped with repeater pistols, which they wield alongside a regular pistol. Outriders are also equipped with a cavalry Saab for fighting in close quarters. Right, so let's see what this repeater handgun does. So it's got a 14-inch range, D3 attacks, force hit, 3 swing, blast from rend, and 1 damage. Not a bad one there. 14-inch range is nice. Yeah, I like that. Right, okay, and then going into the melee weapons, so we've got a brace of pistols. So that's a 1-inch range, 2 attacks, 5 and 3, blast from rend, 1 damage. Yeah, the rend's nice there, isn't it? And good to win characteristic. Cavalry Saab, so 1-inch range, 1 attack, force hit, force of wind, no rend, and 1 damage. Only the Outrider gets this, but it's a competent melee attack, isn't it? So yeah, that's alright. It's an extra attack, obviously, never say no. And then the steeds stampling hooves. So 1-inch range, 2 attacks, force hit, 5 wind, no rend, and 1 damage. It's a very standard horse attack. So yeah, fair one. It's not 5 and 5, so you got that. Right, okay, then the ability. So repeater pistol. So an Outrider equipped with a repeater pistol needs 3 attacks instead of 2 when attacking with brace pistols. Yeah, that's good. You know, like if there's a way to get pluses to the hit rolls and stuff, which we'll see if there is in the last ability. So Reckless Riders. So when this unit runs, roll 2 dice and pick the highest instead of rolling a single dice when determining how much extra they move. However, when pistols run, they must run as close as possible towards the nearest visible enemy. Don't like this, because as far as I'm aware, they can't run and shoot. Now you'd be running towards the enemy to hopefully try and get in range of shooting them, but you can't shoot because you ran, as far as I'm aware. So yeah, not really a fan of that ability. And yeah, a little disappointed. Was looking for a way for you to get pluses to hit rolls. But I think these guys really need it. Otherwise, unlike, you know, the handgun, I suppose, like, well, It says you're hitting on a 5, but you know, there's loads of ways for you to make it like even like, well, just hitting on a 4, hitting on a 3 is really good. With these guys, it's like, oh, I'm sure you guys got something up your sleeve, and then you read it and go, no, they don't. They're just generally hitting on a 5, which, yeah, really makes these guys. I think they're cool, but I don't think they're really worth taking, in all honesty, for competitive play. But anyway, looking at the keywords, we've got Order, Human, Free Peoples, and Free Guild Pistoliers. So just something to note is that when I was saying the Free Guild before, I think I was making it sound like it was a single keyword itself. It's not. It's just the Free Peoples that are, as far as I'm aware. So just something to bear in mind there. But yeah, these guys, I think they're cool, but I don't think they're probably worth taking in the game. But of course, correct me if I'm wrong. Right then, we're going to now look at the step up from the Pistoliers. And this, of course, is going to be the Free Guild Outriders. Now, these Outriders are not battle line. They are classed as an other unit, so same as Pistoliers. And they are 130 points for 5, which makes them the same points cost as the Pistoliers. Now, I do like that because then it's easy to make the comparison there. Because if the Outriders were a bit more expensive, a bit less expensive, then you can sort of go, you can justify going, well, why one of them's better than the other because of the point cost. But no, they're the same points. They count as another unit, so they may fill the same role. Let's have a look. So, we're going to have a look at the War Scroll. So, firstly, for the Outriders, we are going to look at their description. So, this is a unit of Free Guild Outriders, has 5 or more models. Units of Free Guild Outriders are armed with repeater handguns and cavalry sabres. They are mounted on steeds that trample the foe with their stamping hooves. And then we go into their will stats. So they've got a 12-inch movement, a 5+ save, bravery 6, and 2 wounds. Would have liked more than a 5-up save. However, the same points as the Pistoliers, aren't they? Same sort of models, but no, these guys have got more. Actually, I don't know if they've got more armor on, but because they're, you know, cloaks and stuff, they feel they're, you know, they can take a hit a bit better. So 5-up save, yeah, it's not great. However, you know, these are like cavalry, aren't they? So you can't have everything, of course. Bravery 6, yeah, that's okay. 2 wounds becomes expected, but 12-inch movement is fast, so that's probably the best thing on their stats. Right, okay, then looking at their weapons. Right, we've got a lot here. We've got 3 missile weapons and 3 melee weapons. So firstly, we're going to look at the repeater handgun. So this is a 14-inch range, D3 attacks, 5 to hit, 3 to wound, -1 rend, and 1 damage. We've got the bracer pistols, which is 9-inch range, 2 attacks, 4 to hit, 3 to wound, -1 rend, and 1 damage. And then we've got the grenade launcher blunderbuss. So this is a 10-inch range, 1 attack, 4 to hit, 3 to wound, -2 rend, and D3 damage. So to make a bit more sense of that, I'm going to read through the description again and the sharpshooter of the unit's rules, so just to make sure we understand this. So, a unit of Free Guild Outriders has 5 or more models. Units of Free Guild Outriders are armed with repeater handguns and cavalry sabres. They are mounted on steeds that trample the foe with their stamping hooves. Okay, so your standard models in this unit are going to get a repeater handguns. So, to remind yourself, that's 14-inch range, D3 attacks, 5 to hit, 3 to wound, -1 rend, and 1 damage. So, that's your standard attack, now that we understand that. Yeah, that's a good attack. The only problem is hitting on 5. It's hopefully there'll be a way for you to be able to make it easier to do that, and we'll see that in the abilities if there is. Then we go to talk about the sharpshooter. So the leader of this unit is a sharpshooter. Some sharpshooters shoot the foe with a repeater handgun. You can add 1 to hit rolls for these sharpshooters in the shooting phase, but others ride to war equipped with a brace of pistols, one of which will typically be a repeater pistol. A few sharpshooters, usually those that have a gunmaster as a patron, instead carry a grenade launcher, blunderbuss. Sharpshooters can also make 2 attacks with their cavalry sabres instead of 1. Okay, so the sharpshooter, essentially the leader unit, gets a bit of a bonus there. So obviously he gets a different weapon, or he can make his normal weapon be better. I personally would just go for the grenade launcher because this is a medieval setting and someone has a grenade launcher. I personally feel like that's enough said. However, if you want me to repeat the rules, it's got a 10-inch range, 1 attack, 4 to hit, 3 to wound, -2 rend, D3 damage. It's got a -2 rend there. I don't think there's really much in this army that has -2 rend, apart from maybe the Griffin, I'm sure has -2 rend, but at least. And the DEMIGRYPH, which we'll be getting to in a moment, I don't think they have that, but we will see when we go into that. -2 rend is really good, and especially a 10-inch range on a grenade launcher is pretty good for Sigmar going, as Sigmar doesn't have too many grenade launchers knocking around. So yeah, that is cool. Right, and then going into the melee weapons. So you've got the cavalry Saab, and this is your standard one for each of the models who will get it. You'll bear in mind though, the sharpshooter will be getting 2 attacks this. So the standard weapon for the cavalry Saab is a 1-inch range, 1 attacks, force hit, force wound, no rend, and 1 damage. The brace of pistols is a 1-inch range, 2 attacks, 5 hit, freeze wound, -1 rend, and 1 damage. And this these trampling hooves is a 1-inch range, 2 attacks, 4 hit, 5 for wounds, no rend, and 1 damage. So the steeds are the same as the ones we saw for Pistoliers, of course, as they are the same model. So yeah, not bad. Melee attacks are they really? Bear in mind that this is a light cavalry unit. So yeah, I mean the Saabs though, a force hit, a force a wound is not bad at all. Right, okay, then going into the abilities, so we've got the Trumpeters. So models in this unit may be Trumpeters. A unit that includes any Trumpeters can shoot and charge in its turn, even if it ran during its movement phase. Okay, so firstly, the Pistoliers do also have this ability. I think I might have missed that out in their War Scroll, as I just sort of presumed it would be like the same sort of trumpets as we've seen before in the Free Peoples, but no, they've got the same one, and I think I criticised the Pistoliers for not being able to like run and shoot. They can do that. They can run and charge if they want to as well. So the Trumpeter ability is very good, and that's what really makes them good like cavalry, because before when I looked at Pistoliers, like, maybe like cavalry, but not that fast. However, I was wrong. I misread it. So yes, they can do that. So a step up for the Pistoliers there. Go back to that. And then for the Outriders, yeah, it's good. That means they can, it makes them extra fast. It means that they can move, or 12 plus D6 and still be able to shoot or charge. Or they could, you know, make a 18-inch move if you want to make that flat 6 run, as you can do with the command point. Yeah, makes them really, really fast. Get them where they need to with their shooting, because their shooting range is obviously not great. So yeah, it would really help with that. Okay, and then getting into the main abilities, we've got the Expert Gunners. So you can add on to hit rolls for Outriders in the shooting phase if their unit did not move in the preceding movement phase, and there are no enemy models within 3 inches. Okay, I mean, that's cool, but these guys, I imagine how I'd probably run them, unless you're playing a really defensive game, these guys would be like running around the board all the way, you know, making sure that they don't get stuck into combat or get attacked by the enemy. They're not going to be standing still. So I don't know how useful this is going to be, but it might happen like once a game or something, and then getting add onto your hit rolls is good, because remember, you're hitting on 5s. That's something you really don't want to have to do. And it's just a repeater pistol. So a sharpshooter equipped with a repeater pistol makes 3 attacks instead of 2 when attacking with a brace of pistols. And yeah, I mean, that's the only thing about this unit, is that unless you're not moving, you're hitting on 5s, which is, you're making D3 attacks, but for a unit that, like I say, it's like cavalry, but it's quite a specialised unit, hitting on 5s is not good. I think if they were hitting on 4s, it would make them so much better. I don't know that would make them too cheap for 130 points. I don't think it would. Yeah, that's it really. They've got the rend to them though, and the grenade launcher always hits on a 4 anyway, regardless. So yeah, I do like these guys. I think they're really cool looking as well. You know, like, well, one of them's got a bloody grenade launcher, for Christ's sake. But I feel like the 5 to hit just makes it a bit tougher to justify them. But I've never played with them. I've never used them. You guys, if you have a Freeguild army, you've got a much more experience with them than I do. So it'd be great to hear it. But I think they look cool. I'd like to have them in the army anyway. And to be honest, there's probably ways you can get pluses to hit and stuff outside of their war scroll. So yeah, it is still not bad. Right, okay, and then going into the keywords, we've got Order Human, Free Peoples, Free Guild, Outriders. So standard there, Free Peoples being the most important one. Right, then moving on to the best unit they have, and I don't know if it is the best unit, it probably isn't the most versatile, but certainly in my opinion the coolest, and this is of course going to be the DEMIGRYPH Knights. So they come in a minimum size unit of 3, they come in a max size unit of 12, they cost you 140 points for free. There is no mass legion discount for taking the maximum size of them, because you know they are funny enough a Free People's battle line, but they're not really rank and file, so I'm not surprised they don't get a discount, but they are awesome. So let's have a look at their war scroll. Right, so the description of a unit of DEMIGRYPH Knights has 3 or more models. Some units of DEMIGRYPH Knights wield lances and swords, while others are armed with cavalry halberds. In either case, the knights carry shields and ride upon fearsome DEMIGRYPHs that attack with their razor-sharp talons. Right, so looking at their wheel stats, they've got a 10-inch movement, a 4+ save, bravery 6, and 4 wounds. Okay, a few things here. So movement of 10, isn't bad for what they are. It's the same sort of movement for Chaos Knights. 4+ save, yep, that's fair enough. You know, you think, oh, it'd be cool they had a 3-up save, but no, for what they are, you know, a 4+ save is good, because bearing in mind, if they make them a 3-up save, it's like, well, what makes them like as good or better than Stormcast? So yeah, a 4-up save is fair enough. 4 wounds is good. It's more than I was expecting. I thought it'd be 3 wounds, so 4 wounds is good. However, that Bravery 6, I'm not a fan of. These guys should be Bravery 7. You know, even just from a lore perspective, or just from what they look like, they look fucking cool. So they should be Bravery 7. Why are these guys the same bravery as the light cavalry? You know, these are the guys who aren't going to be running around shooting the enemy and then running around trying not to get killed. These guys are charging straight into the enemy, knowing exactly the pain they're going to bring to the enemy, and know that their life will be on the line as well. So I personally do feel that their bravery should be 7, but anyway, I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Let's move on. So let's look at the melee weapons. So we've got a lance and sword. So bear in mind, you can, you know, it's the same attacks here. It's the same stats really. Doesn't matter if they have the sword or the lance. So it's got a 2-inch range. It's got 2 attacks, 4 to hit, 4 to wound, no render 1 damage. Okay, I was hoping a little bit more, but maybe we'll see something better. You know, there'll be like probably a charge bonus or something. Right, okay, then we get the cavalry halberd. So this is a 2-inch range. It's got a 2 attacks, 4 to hit, 3 to wound, no rend, 1 damage. Okay. And then we have got the Demigryph's razor sharp talons. So we've got a 1-inch range, 3 attacks, 4 to hit, 3 to wound, -1 rend, and 1 damage. Yeah, the -1 rend is there, is nice, isn't it? And it's a good wound characteristic, I suppose. I just sort of feel like, you know, they should be more aggressive and stuff. But I suppose Demigryph Knights, as cool as they are, the Demigryphs, you know, compared to basically the bigger Demigryphs, which Stormcast have now, they're quite small, aren't they? So they're not going to be as good. But remember, you have 2 weapon options there. You can take the lance and sword or the cavalry halberd, which I'm sure there's going to be bonuses for at least one of them anyway in the rules. And let's have a look at the abilities now. So the first one is the Preceptor. Basically, the leader of this unit is a Preceptor. A Preceptor makes a 1 extra attack with either his lance and sword or his cavalry halberd. Fantastic, easy to remember. I like it. Right, okay, and then we've got the standard bearers. So models in this unit may be standard bearers. If this includes any standard bearers, it only needs to take a battleship test if 2 or more of its models were slain during the turn. Okay. So now this sort of helps out with the bravery, doesn't it? Which I was talking about, you know, it being only bravery 6, and that is it's a pain in the ass. However, you only need to do a battleship test if 2 or more models have been killed. So if one model, you know, dies and you go, oh, I've got to roll battleship now, if I roll a 6, and another one runs away and gets killed, and then you roll the 6, think fucking great, it's an elite unit, it's killing itself basically. However, it's only going to happen if 2 or more run. What I will say on that though, it means if you've lost like 2 or 3, then you're sort of fucked really, aren't you? Because then you're going to do a battleship test and your bravery's not very good. I still would like it to be bravery 7. Right, the next ability is Hornblower. So a model in unit may be Hornblowers. If the unit includes any Hornblowers, add 2 to its charge rolls. That's good, means it's always making that 3-inch charge. Even a 4-inch charge is making, so yeah, that's good. And then when you need to get those high charges, like on a 12 I can get it, and you know, it's like, well, just roll the dice, see what happens, and you get a 10 and you think, oh, so close yet so far. Well, these guys are going to make it. Right, okay, then going into the rest of the abilities, we've got the shield, so you can reroll save rolls of 1 for units equipped with shields. We have then got the charging lance, so add 1 to the wound rolls and damage for this unit's lances and swords if it charged in the same turn. I like that. That's good. That's for me. That definitely puts them ahead of the halberds. I mean, yeah, they haven't got a good like to wound characteristic as them if they don't charge, but like these guys, you're going to be setting these guys up to charge essentially. You know, you're going to be bubble wrapping them, and if you don't really know what I mean by bubble wrapping, go check that video I did a few days ago. So you're going to basically be protecting these guys until they're ready to make that charge. So I'm planning for them to be doing the charging. And next one is Savage Ferocity. So if the wound roll for a Demigryph's sharp razor talons is a 6 or more, then that attack inflicts D3 damage instead of 1. Okay, I'm happy with the Demigryphs now. I'm happy with that attack. That's cool. Yep, you need a 6 to wound. However, cool. And yeah, I do like that. And bear in mind, it's a 6 or more, so modifiers will apply there. And that's all of its abilities. So I don't know why you would take the halberd. Maybe you just see these guys are getting stuck and bogged down to combat to the point where it's like, I'm not going to bother about giving them the one that gives them the charge bonus because, you know, once they're in combat, they're not getting their charge bonus anymore, which is which is true, but I always like to play for the risk, and I always like to try and get my charges. Right, okay, then we've got keywords. So we've got Order Human, Free Peoples, and Demigryph Knights. So the Free Peoples, of course, is going to be the most important one there. Right, so the Demigryph Knights in summary. So for what you're looking at, 140 points isn't too much. The Free Peoples don't have, you know, they're not the most competitive army out there, are they? I think most people know this. So the Demigryph Knights, I do quite like it. I like them because I think they look really cool. But they're one of those things, before I reviewed them, I thought they'd be like, they look cool, but they're not going to fit in anywhere in the army. And I don't know if they are the best unit for the army, because how people have been running them in tournaments and stuff, I don't know if they are the best unit for that purpose. However, for me, they look awesome, and they're not bad. And they're not, but I mean they're not bad. I mean, they're pretty good. The only thing that annoys me is that 6 bravery for absolutely sure. I wish that was 7. Why can't it be 7? These guys are like the most top end of the knights that the Free Peoples have. Well, I say they're the most top end of the knights Free Peoples have. They only have one type of knights now, don't they? Which are the Demigryphs. But for humans in general, these are the best knights that are going. So, yeah, why can't they have bravery 7? But anyway, I'm going to stop talking about that. And I do really like the Demigryph Knights, so I would recommend them for sure. Right, okay, so that brings us to the last unit for the Free Peoples, of course, that being the Demigryph Knights, which we just reviewed. So, in summary, the Free Peoples, what I think of them so far, bear in mind we have not looked at their leaders yet, and when I do that in the next video, the leaders will be the case of, I think it's just the 2, isn't it? I think it's the Emperor General on Griffin, the Emperor General on foot or horse, but we'll get to that, but I think that is the case. Yeah, only 2, but I'm sure there's going to be ways that enhance the army. But looking at the army on face value, which I looked at for its units, there are quite a bit of choices there. I feel like some of the units sort of contradict each other because they sort of do the same role. But I think there are winners and losers out of those roles, so you know which ones to take. And I think there's, for an army that, like I say, is not very competitive, at the moment anyway, I don't mean to take that away from it. But when I mean it's not competitive, I mean it's going to struggle going up against the new Flesh-Eater Court armies, isn't it? And I mean, like, most armies are going to struggle going up against the new Flesh-Eater Court armies or the new Skaven armies, and you know, it's going to have a hard time against those. So you sort of see where I'm coming from. But I think if you're playing against a Gutbuster army, or you're playing against, I don't know, even like a Nighthorn army, or you know, just there's quite a few armies that these guys can give them a good game. And the nice thing about the Free Peoples, if you're playing against, let's say, a Nighthorn army as an example, you're the underdog, and it's always, I think, cooler to be the underdog than to be the you know, the more powerful player, because then it makes your game more exciting. It makes it more, you know, you've got to think about every single decision you make, which I really, really like, and that's why I love playing competitive games. Right, so with the Free Peoples, they have quite a few units. My favourite unit out of all of them is the Demigryphs, because they're just awesome. They're battle line as well for your Free Peoples. I mean, that's really cool. And the Handgunners are pretty nice as well, I think. The Crossbowmen are good. And the Free Guild, they're very good for what they for their points and stuff. So yeah, I do like quite a few of the units. I think they're all quite nice models as well. They've got quite nice themes to them, and obviously because this is from the Empire that used to be, there is lots of ways and examples that you can paint these up to really show heraldry. So yes, I do like them. Right, so that's going to be the end of the video, so I hope you did enjoy it, guys. Please like, subscribe and comment down below if you did, as that massively helps the channel out, and it's completely free for you to do so. If you do have a Free Peoples army, please let me know down in the comments, and please tell me your tactics, how you run the army, because when I went to a tournament recently, I did see some Free Peoples there, so it'd be great to hear your tactics from your experience, guys, and it'd be great if you could share that with people. Right, so like I say, if you could like, subscribe and comment, that really does help the channel. If you would like to support the channel a step further, what I have done now, I've created a Patreon account, and this is a way for me to get support for the channel without doing adverts on the channel. I've said many times before, I don't want to have any adverts on the channel. I think that just ruins the content. So Patreon is a way for me to get some income for the channel without having to, like I say, shove adverts all over the channel, really, which, like I say, I don't want to do. And Patreon, all the money on that goes towards things like getting battle tomes, because I'm happy to buy battle tomes for armies that I do collect, but for armies I don't, you know, it's £25 a book over here in Britain, so it's quite a bit of money for doing the armies I don't, but I'm going to have to do it for like Firestone and stuff, because I want to review them and stuff like that, and Gloom's White Gits and all those sorts of things. But anyway, so there's that. It also goes towards things like getting a better mic, which I really want to do, getting a camera so I can do battle reports, unboxings, hobby and chats, and really sort of engage more you guys, community base. It also is really good just for motivation for me to be able to, for me to justify the time putting into this channel, and making as many videos as I can as on YouTube. Of course, I'm sure a lot of you guys know this already, but you know, like YouTubers like myself, we don't get paid. As one of the things, because we don't do advertisement stuff. It's I like with the channel. The reason I don't want to do advertisement is because I do this for, you know, enjoyment. I love talking about and discussing Warhammer, and I feel like as soon as you start putting advertisement on it, it just sort of ruins it, doesn't it? Instead of like you doing it for like people who love the content, as soon as you start doing adverts, then you're sort of kicking them in the dick a little bit, I feel. So that's why I think Patreon is a really good idea for myself anyway. And on that note, I'd like to thank my vampires that are on Patreon. So these are tier 2 people on my support page. So essentially what they do is they give at least $5 a month. And this is going to be to Max, Carl, Simon and Martin. So guys, thank you again very much for your continuing help, and rest assured all this money and stuff is going towards all those things already stated. So you guys know that already because I've been saying this quite a few times now. But yes, it'll be absolutely great to start seeing some fruit of that labour, if you see what I mean by start getting some things for the channel and start treating it a little bit. So that'll be cool to see in the future. So yes guys, I really hope you enjoy this content today. It was absolutely great fun looking at the free people. It's making me like, I'm really easy to be tempted to get armies anyway, but the free people, like, oh, they are pretty cool. And I've got quite a bit of lore for them in my death army, and that's also in the my lore video, I think it's called, for I did a few weeks ago in the Flesh Eater Court series, which talks about the free people I have in my Death Kingdom, because that was all based around when Age of Sigmar first came out, and the lore you could basically be as crazy as you like, which you can to some extent still do today. But anyway guys, so like I say, I hope you enjoyed this video, and remember, until next time, Nagash is all, and all is one in Nagash.